So this is similar to the new style core calculator paper. You must show your working in the boxes and you must remember to write your units. So the first few questions tend to be just using a calculator. First one, we have 3 divided by 0.25 cubed. Just to the power of 3. 192. Now for the second one, I would use brackets to make sure I'm doing the square root of all that. So open brackets, 2,580 plus 3,420, close brackets, and then take the square root. Now your calculator might work in a different way, not writing down too many figures from the answer. Write the above answers correct to the nearest 10. It's 190, and 77 is about 80. Fill in the blanks. Now here we're working backwards. So 9.145 minus 0.87. And here we're going to do 2.85 divided by 4.75. You can check these are right by then working them out forwards. It's always best to do things twice on the calculator by a different way each time to make sure you get the same answer. Does this sound right? About 20 take away 13 is about 7. It sounds about right. Now this one we need to do 1 divided by 0.165625. Write the next 3 terms. Now this one we're dividing. It looks like we're dividing by 2 and dividing by 10. So we're actually dividing by 20 each time. So take 0.07 and divide by 20. And then divide that by 20 again. So we have to name the shapes and draw any lines of symmetry. The lines of symmetry you must do accurately with a pencil and ruler and measure halfway. The first triangle has a right angle and 2 equal sides, so it's a right-angled isosceles triangle. So, 450 to 72 as a ratio in its simplest form. So I've divided by 9, but then I realized I could divide them both by 2 to get down to its simplest form. So the same ratio as before, guitars to keyboards, 25 to 4. Start with a simple ratio. If they sell 377 instruments, how many guitars do they sell? Well, 25 and 4 makes 29. We have to see how many times we need to multiply that to make 377. So here we are multiplying by 13. So we multiply 25 by 13 and 4 by 13. Then we must write out the answer. How many guitars? So here we need to increase 4,500 by 3.5%. So to find the new balance, we need to multiply by just a bit more than 1, by 1.035. Don't forget the pound sign. And to make it look like pence, it must have a 0 on the end. Now the percentage increase is the actual increase out of the original. So the actual increase is 231. So it's 231 out of 8,250. Ask your calculator. And it will say 0.028. That's 2.8%. Don't say 1x, say x. Y times y is y squared. Here the 5c and the minus 5c cancel out. Now here I've made a mistake. It should be 15p divided by 5. So the answer should be 3p. Multiply out the brackets. And then simplify. We could say minus 1 plus 4b, but 4b minus 1 is slightly better. Again, multiply out the brackets. Now here we have minus m and minus minus 2. So it's minus m plus 2. Then minus 5 plus 2 is minus 3. Factorize. We're looking for the highest common factor. Here 3 goes into 9w minus 12. You can check you have it right by multiplying it out again in your head. Now the largest number which goes into 24 and 16 is 8. Which leaves 3 pi plus 2. So these two angles are equal. That means we know that 7e minus 12 is equal to 3e plus 28. We have an equation. Because it's an isosceles triangle, these two angles are the same. So, solving the equation, take away 3e from both sides, and add 12 to both sides. We have 4e equals 40, so e equals 10. Circumference. C equals pi d. That's pi times the diameter. So C equals pi d. That's pi times 2.8. Ask your calculator. And it tells us to give the answers correct to 2 decimal places. Don't forget the units. Now the area of a circle is pi r squared. Here we have half a circle, so it's pi r squared divided by 2. Now the radius is 0.4 meters. It's half the diameter. So it's pi times 0.4 squared divided by 2. Again, round off the answer to 2 decimal places, and don't forget the units. The median. So we write them all out in order of size, and it's the one in the middle. But here there's no middle number, so it's halfway between the 2 middle values. Calculate the mean. So the mean is the total divided by the number of things. I've used the calculator to add it up to 58. 58 divided by 10 is 5.8. So if on average each ladybird has 5.8 spots, you'd expect 500 ladybirds to have 5.8 times 500 spots in total, approximately. Now, angles and polygons. Usually the first thing we do is find the exterior angle. I've labelled it x. So x is 360 degrees divided by 9. That's 40 degrees. Now we can work out an interior angle. So y is 180 minus 40, which is 140 degrees. All the interior angles are the same. So A is going to be 360 degrees minus 140 degrees. If the perimeter is 70.2 centimetres, calculate the length of one side. So it's going to be 70.2 centimetres divided by 9. Don't forget the units. Shape X is enlarged onto shape Y. What is the scale factor of the enlargement? Well, we can see that each length is twice as long as before, so the scale factor is 2. Now, to find the centre of enlargement, we can trace back the points to see where they came from. Work out the area of shape Y. Well, here I'm dividing it up so I can count the squares. I've divided it up into a rectangle in the middle and then 3 triangles. And again, don't forget the units. Write the ratio of the area of X to the area of Y. Well, the shape has been enlarged by scale factor 2. That means the area has gone up by 2 times 2, or 2 squared. So it's 1 to 4. Calculate the mean speed of the plane. Well, speed is distance over time. So that's 815 miles, but what's the time? From 2:30 to 5 o'clock is 2.5 hours. So we're going to do 2.5 hours. And the speed is in miles per hour. Derek runs the 400 metres in a time of 1 minute and 8 seconds. So again, speed is distance over time. We have 400 metres in how many seconds? Well, 1 minute 8 seconds is 68 seconds. Giving the answer correct to 1 decimal place, and don't forget the units, metres per second. Peter is twice as old as Imran. Jemima is 2 years younger than Imran. The ages of Peter, Imran and Jemima add up to 30. How old is Imran? Well, we need to form an equation. Here we're comparing their ages to Imran. So let's say Imran is X years old. Peter is twice as old, so that's 2x. Jemima is 2 years younger than Imran, so that's x minus 2. Then we know their ages add up to 30, so we can form an equation. Apologies for the spelling of Imran. So the graph shows the distance from Lucy's home in kilometres, and the line shows her journey starting at 3 p.m. How far is the friend's house from Lucy's? So right up to there it is 90 kilometres. Between which times does Lucy stop her car for a rest? Well, she stops at 4 p.m. up till 4:15 p.m. And we need to write those times properly, 4 p.m. and 4:15 p.m. At which time is Lucy at the midpoint of the fastest section of the journey? Well, the fastest section is where the line is steepest, and the midpoint is there. That's at 3:45 p.m. At the same time as Lucy starts her journey, her friend leaves Lucy's home to go home. She drives at a constant speed and passes Lucy on the road at 3:34 p.m. So a straight line gives you the constant speed, and there's the passing point at 3:34 p.m. I reckon she arrives at 3:42 p.m. Now, towards the end of the paper, you can expect to get some questions which are unusual or different. By measurement, what do you notice about each of the angles from A? Well, with our protractor, we measure them very carefully. We'll notice that each angle is pretty much exactly 22.5 degrees. And they're all exactly the same, which is interesting and a little surprising. Take further measurements to find the area of the kite. So here's the kite. Now it's a right angle, that's 90 degrees, which means we have two right-angled triangles. We can measure those two lengths, 11.6 and 4.5 centimeters. The area of a triangle is the base times the height divided by 2, but we have two triangles, so it's just going to be 11.6 times 4.5. Now don't forget to show all your working properly, and don't forget the units. We have 4 marks available. So when a sound level increases by 10 decibels, it sounds twice as loud as before. A mower sounds 4 times louder than a fridge. If the fridge's sound level is 50 decibels, what's the sound level of the mower? So to go from 50 to 60 decibels, that would be twice as loud. And then 60 to 70 decibels, that would be twice as loud again. So the mower must be 70 decibels. A firework has a sound level of 150 decibels. So how many times louder does it sound than the fridge? So we need to go all the way from 50 decibels up to 150 decibels. So every time it goes up 10 decibels, the sound level is doubling. So it's doubling from 50 to 60, doubling again, doubling again. It's doubling 10 times. So that's 2 to the power of 10, or 1024 times louder, or about 1,000 times louder.